Have you ever really stopped to think about what's going on underneath a totally normal, everyday conversation? I mean, we make countless choices without even thinking about it. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the hidden architecture of how we talk to each other.
All right, so let's set the scene with this conversation between two coworkers, Alex and Sarah. Alex kicks things off. The client liked our initial pitch. Sarah comes back with, but why did the final document need major changes? Alex explains, the summary section was found to be too brief. And Sarah wraps it up, I trust the updated version will resolve this issue. Now, on the surface, that seems pretty simple, right? But believe me, this little exchange is absolutely packed with linguistic strategy.
So this really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. What are these invisible rules? What are the structures that Alex and Sarah are using, probably without even realizing it, that make this conversation flow so well? Well, let's break it down.
Okay, first things first. We have to look at the most basic building blocks of any conversation. The whole thing is built on the difference between making a statement and asking a question. And that difference? It all comes down to sentence structure.
Let's start with Alex's opening line. He's just making a statement, right? He's sharing a piece of information. This is one of the most fundamental things we do with language. And the way he says it is the most direct way to get that information across.
What he's using here is called the declarative form. You can think of it as the default setting for language. When your main goal is just to state a fact or share some info, this is the tool you reach for. It's the foundation for almost all of our communication.
And if you look at how it's built, it follows that classic pattern we all learned in school. Subject, verb, object. The client, that's our subject. Liked, that's the verb. And our initial pitch, that's the object. There's a reason this is the most common sentence structure in English. It's just super clear and gets the job done with zero confusion.
But then, Sarah jumps in. And notice how she completely changes the structure of her sentence. By doing that, she totally shifts the conversation's purpose. It goes from just sharing information to requesting it.
This is what we call the interrogative form. See how she starts with why and flips the word order around? That's a clear signal that she's asking a question and needs an answer. This right here is what turns a one-way street of statements into a real, two-way interactive dialogue.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. We don't just choose between stating something and asking something. We also make these really subtle choices inside those structures to handle, well, social situations. And that brings us to the fine art of shifting focus.
Okay, listen to Alex's reply to Sarah's question. The summary section was found to be too brief. He could have said that in a bunch of different ways, couldn't he? Why do you think he chose this specific phrasing?
He's using something called the passive voice. And trust me, this isn't just some dusty grammar rule, it's a strategic communication move. It lets him shift the focus of the sentence. In a work setting, this is a masterclass in diplomacy. Instead of saying, you messed up, you might say, a mistake was made. See how it softens the blow by focusing on the event, not the person?
Just look at this side-by-side comparison. In the active voice, he might have said, the team found the summary section too brief. That kind of points a finger, doesn't it? But by saying, the summary section was found, Alex cleverly takes the person who did the finding right out of the picture. It's a really smart, diplomatic choice that keeps everyone focused on the problem, not on playing the blame game.
So, we've got statements, questions, and these clever ways to phrase things. But what actually holds it all together? A good conversation isn't just a list of sentences thrown together. It's a connected flow of ideas, and it's all held together by this kind of invisible linguistic glue. And Sarah's final line here is a perfect example of this conversational glue in action. It's so effective because it directly connects back to the problem they were just talking about, and it pushes the conversation forward toward a solution.
The technical term for this glue is cohesion. It's basically the whole set of tools we use to link our sentences together so that our conversations make sense, feel logical, and are easy to follow. Honestly, without cohesion, our chats would just be a jumbled, confusing mess.
And Sarah is just fantastic at this. She replies quickly, which keeps the momentum going. And here's the really slick part. She uses the pronoun this issue. By doing that, she avoids having to awkwardly repeat the problem with the summary section being too brief. It just makes the whole dialogue smoother, more efficient, and feel totally connected. It's brilliant.
So, if there's one big thing to take away from all this, it's this. Grammar isn't just a bunch of boring rules you have to memorize. It's a toolkit. The declarative form,
the interrogative, the passive voice, cohesion. These are all tools we use consciously or not to build our conversations, manage relationships, and get things done.
And that really brings us to the end. As you go about the rest of your day, start paying attention to that toolkit. Every word, every sentence, every little choice matters. So the only question left is, what are you going to choose to build with it?